Hey, shalom, shalom. First off, I'd like to say, Kal Halal, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahushai Bahashim, Ruchwal Gudash, the water Yahweh for giving us, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS, who have the 100% spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Shai in them. Double honors to the CT bishops, elders of GMS, our big brothers. Greetings and salutations to the brothers in this country and all over the world who are prophesying in the true name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, which is none other than the power of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anybody who are descendants from those people on their father's side. Shalom to those who are scattered abroad. I am your Iquab, Lord willing, serving the King of the universe. And this show is going to be entitled Noman, Oman, Mountain Dweller. Noman, Oman, Mountain Dweller. And, as you can see in the thumbnail, it's we're talking about Yuval Noah Harari. Yuval Noah Harari, which I mentioned to the camp, because Noman only means what? Like Apostle Kabar always goes into, it means basically name prediction. Okay, name prediction. And this show came about because of what Yuval Noah Harari said, like last week, and saying that we can get God as angry as we like, and we don't care. Okay, he said again, we can get God as angry as we like, and we don't care. And I was looking at Apostle Star's show, and he went into it, and I said, damn, these Edomites again. We really know they're wicked, but, that's bold. It's, of course, extremely bold. But anyway, so I looked up his name, because, he's definitely marked. And he's definitely marked. And so I looked up his name to see, just to, get a feeling of his spirit. And when I looked up his name, lo and behold, his name meant basically, which we're going to go into, is Yuval means stream or flow. Okay, just like, I'll just say it. Yuval means flow, Noah means, as we know, comfort, and Harari means a mountain dweller. Okay, so if you put it together, comfort, a comfortable mountain dweller. So that's what I told the camp on Saturday, when everybody was just kind of sharing their piece from what they learned for the week. And then I also mentioned to Apostle Tahar, which his show is for Akim, but also for Apostle Tahar, because I told him, and because I thought he might like that. And I wanted to share with him, and he looked like he was interested. He looked like it was something, but they're so dragons, like you don't know. But he looked like he was like, wow, okay. And he said, send me the show. So this is what this show is for, Pastor Har, and all the Akim out there. And also, like I said, when I looked it up, it was like a big revelation to me, because I wasn't expecting to see that, So, but as we go on, Apostle coined a new phrase today, which is gappy, and that's what this guy is. So I remember I was telling him, I said, I know Yuval Noah Harari, so we got flow, comfort, mountain dweller. I said comfort, mountain dweller makes sense to me, but Yuval, I can't make it out. But when I started thinking about it, a thing that apostles always say, they call a gappy, coined by Apostle Tahar. They also called gappies, in the Hebrew word marachab, which means basically, another word for chariot, but another word also for floater, or another word for a gappy. So when I heard that today, and his first name was Flow, it means stream or flow. But if you're, how should I say, you call a gappy a marakab, so that could be, that could be what that flow means, Anyway, so basically we got a, Skittles package, comfortable dweller. And that's what all Esau is. Like Apostle R went in a great show today, going into Esau and his nature, going into history in Pompeii, about what they had written in the walls. And it was all basically sexual perversions, man, So anyway, without further ado, what I want to tackle in this show, I want to, again, Noman, Oman, mountain dweller, right? And go into the mountain dwellers, right? And you already know where I'm going to go with that. When you hear that, a mountain dweller, proving who this devil is. And also, I want to go into exposing his attitude, proving that Esau's still here today. Because when Esau would say something that bold like that, because if you don't believe in God, like they say, if he's an atheist, you're not going to acknowledge a God, right? So why would you even say something like that? If you don't believe, you're not going to say nothing like that, right? So we know that he's in higher up, he's a Satanist, and Esau got his feelings hurt. So again, I want to attack Mountain Dweller on the show, and I don't want to go into Esau's Edom attitude of only they would be the ones to say something like that. All right. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. I think it says the fool sins heart, there's no God. All right, let me get that real quick. Fool. I forgot what that is. No God. This wasn't planned, so we'll see what. Okay. This is Psalms. There's two of them. It says Psalms 14:1. It says, "The fool has said in his heart, which is your mind, love, there is no God or power. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good." If we really know by his first name, Flo, Marachab, a floating Skittles package, he fits the description, man. He's an abominable work, and he's a fool. And you go into fool, let's look that up. I believe it means wicked, which is Nabal, which is fool, foolish, vile person, a foolish man. All right. If you keep committing homosexual, well, if you're a gappy, you're defiled, man. All right, you're defiled and you're vile, okay, and you're stupid and you're wicked, okay, ungodly, right? And the quotes that he says is totally ungodly, man. Says again, Psalms 53:1. It says, "The fool hath said in his heart, there is no power. Corrupt, there is no God. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good." Okay, yeah, and these guys are the higher ups who say things like this. They're having, they're confessing each other and shitting on each other. Well, let me use another word. Defecating on each other in a casket, sharing their secrets. Okay, that's part of it. They show you that in The Good Shepherd. The story of President Bush. They'll tell you that what they do in Yale and Harvard and Skull and Bone universities, Yale and Harvard, and he went to a Hebrew academy in Israel. He's an so-called Israeli inhabitor of the land, and well, he's an Israeli, not so-called. He's an Israeli. That just means an inhabitor of the land. And he went to one of those high-end colleges where they do the same things. All right. So anyway, let me get right into this. So this is a kind of a detailed show. So I want to kind of do this show like within half an hour. I doubt it. It might be 45 minutes or 50, but I want to do it in half an hour, just like one of our fellow beloved brothers out of Chicago, Elder Malcolm, the GMS Maccabean Spirit. He can do shows, so much information coming out in 20 minutes. So anyway, I got an article I want to share about the mountain dwellers, and I got a video on Edom that I want to show, which is 7 minutes, which I want to show. We can watch together, and then I want to go and read in this dictionary here. Okay, this is the Holman Bible Dictionary. All right, and I want to go into this and read about Mount Seir and Edom. Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, so I pray the Lord be with this video, and yeah, I was supposed to come up with this a few days ago, but all this holdups and Satan interrupting. Satan got to my computer today, man, and it was just hell. I've been at the computer like 4 hours. I had to restart the computer. All my information I got saved, right, went away, and I had to put everything back up. So may the Lord be with this. All right, now the first thing we're going to go into, when you hear Yuval Noah Harari, again, it means flow, which we already know what that means, right? Basically a gappy mountain dweller. Noah means comfort, and Harari means mountain dweller. So we don't know. Well, let me look it up just so you know we got to prove all things. All right, so let me bring this camera here. Turn off this light. Now this is the dude in question. Yuval Noah Harari is an Israeli public intellectual, historian, and a professor in the Department of History at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. He is the author of the popular science bestsellers *Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind*. All right, and it's an oxymoron because really, sapiens is another word for humans. But like we always say, like we always bring out, that Esau is not a human being, which we're about to learn today. Okay. Why? Because the word, human or hue means color, right? A colored man, colored mankind. Esau, which this damn demon is, which we're going to prove today, right? We're also going to go into the Khazar Empire, okay? We're going to go all into that, all right? This person is not a human being, okay? So look at the irony in that, man, all right? So that's how, just showing that their foolishness. Okay. But anyway, let's go to the name. I'll just put an etymology just to show you real quick. I don't have to do it, but I'm trying to do it quick, but I'll just do it real quick. Now you see there, right? You see? Yuval in the Hebrew, it says means stream, brook, or tributary. All right. And you are going to be a tributary because, wow, you're a slave. Okay, you're a slave. Tributary means a servant, right? But what I got from the stream, and stream also means to flow, okay? Right, so you can say he's a gappy slave mountain dweller, and that's what they are. He's Esau. So look at that. Now the next one was Noah, right? I'm not going to look that up. Let's look up Harari. We already know Noah means comfort, but let's look at this up because this is where I was like, wow. So let's, actually, I'm sorry, let's do this real quick. Put in an etymology. All right, showing you proof. And what does that say right there? Look at that. All right, it says a Jewish name, which means pretending to, we already know. But anyway, it says that can be translated from Hebrew as mountains or mountain dweller. Okay. Now, what do we think when we read that? Caucasian, right? We think about Caucasians, right? Because Caucasians, which is what they call the so-called white man today, right? That word comes from the Caucasus Mountains, okay? So look at that, man. So Harari means mountain dweller, all right? A mountain dweller. And again, who dwelt in the mountains in the scriptures? Esau, the devil, founded the land of Edom and dwelt in the clefts of, or the mountains of Seir, okay? Which means hairy, all right? And we're going to go all over all that, but let's go in order here. So let's go. So again, we just proved that, right? Now, let's go to, again, mountain dweller. So now we got to go, who dwells in mountains? The Caucasians, right? This picture showed up, man. I might use it anyway. Well, I'll show you in a bit. Right, we're not there yet. Well, I gotta show it. See, I'm gonna go back and forth. I got no editing skills like that, but see, that's a mountain dweller right there, and that's Esau. right? That's him, Mount Seir. Mount Seir means hairy. All right, this man's hairy. Esau's hairy. Look at that. Esau is Edom. Okay, he's the caveman. All right, perfect picture right there. And they're gonna go back to that beastly state. Now let's go to where were we? We're gonna go to Caucasian, and then we're gonna go to Mount Seir. Right? We're gonna tie it all in. Then I gotta read this article for you guys. Right? So let's go to Caucasian. Salak. I gotta get the stuff up. Okay. So Caucasian. Now the Caucasian again represents you so-called white people, which represents what? The Caucasus Mountains, right? I got here, right? It says the Caucasus Mountains are a mountain range at the intersection of Asia and Europe, stretching between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, right? And it's over there in Georgia, Russia, right? Georgia, Russia. I have here, it says the Caucasus Mountains are a mountain range at the intersection of Asia and Europe, stretching between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. They are surrounded by the Caucasus region and are home to Mount Elbrus. Okay. They stretch forth all the way from Turkey to Armenia to Kazakhstan. Okay, it stretches quite a bit, but the main part is in Georgia, Russia. All right, let's get a let's go. Sorry, excuse me. Let me hold your. Not trying to lose your attention here. Okay, so let's look at some pictures of the Caucasus Mountains, and who dwelt there? Well, none other than the Khazarian Empire, which we're about to read an article on that. So that's a major point I want to go into because we got to tie it all in. So this is the Caucasus Mountains, right? Just want to show. You see, in Georgia, Russia, you got Turkey there, Russian Federation. Oh, I didn't mean to go there. All right. The Greater Caucasus Mountains, right? This is another picture of the Caucasus Mountains here. Here's some more. Let's look at that one. This video is going to be a lot of, photos and maps and an article and then one video. So a lot of references to this. So just showing you some stuff we all know, but just it's good to show still. All right. So that's where Esau dwelt, man. Okay. Just like he did in Mount Seir. He's a mountain dweller. All right, let's see what else we can come up here. This guy, member of Flowy Marachab mountain dweller. All right, this is the article I want to read to you. Now this is showing Mount Seir. We're not there yet. Okay, so we pretty much get the point on the Caucasus Mountains. All right. Okay, so now the next point is that we know that the Caucasus Mountains, that's where so-called white people derive from, right? So we got to go to prove that. Okay, the term Caucasians and who dwelt in the Caucasus Mountains, none other than the Khazarian Empire. All right, the Khazarian Empire, which was led by what's his name, Keglan Bullion, if I'm saying it correctly, right? Who who founded the who led the Edomites there, not led the Edomites there, but who was their ruler. All right, and again, that was in the Khazarian Empire. All right, I think they ruled for like a few hundred years, like 300 years, and were taken down around 12th century BC. But they started off, I think, the 6th or 7th century BC. All right, and they fled over there. They were driven. All right, like the scriptures say, they were driven among men. All right, up into the mountains, which was part of the curse, which is part of the curses. All right, them look like a damn caveman. All right, now, so let's go to this article. All right, and tie it in and proving that these people. All right. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna read it. I'm just gonna read it. Instead of holding it, we're already at 20 minutes. Okay, so I'll show you this real quick. This is an old article I had from back in like 2014, 2013. It says a top Israel scientist says Ashkenazi Jews are Khazarians. Okay. They are Khazarians. They are not who they say they are. They're not from the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so we're going to read this. I'm going to try to do as best as I can. All right? All right, so it says, an Israeli has found out that the Ashkenazi Jews came from Khazari. This is a scholarly finding from, and I'm going to post this article in the description. It says, this is a scholarly finding from an Israeli himself who should not be accused of being anti-Semitic, but rather scientific. Further, there is a Nazi word with Ashkenazi. Okay, so they're saying you can hear the word Nazi in Ashkenazi. All right, it's actually in the word. Right, so that's like another oxymoron thing, right? Because so-called Nazis were so-called. Well, let me be careful, right? I may have to post this on my BitChute channel if it gets clipped, so it might get a clip. But you hear the word Nazi inside of Ashkenaz, right? Anyway, it says being anti-Semitic. So, excuse me, he's from Israeli. He might be Israelite foreigner. You're about to find out why. But rather scientific. Further, there's a Nazi word within Ashkenazi. It says, might this be where Nazis got their brand name? But they were annihilating Jews in World War II, Europe, we are told. Interesting. Right? So let me show you this map real quick. This is the Khazar Kingdom in the 10th century, right? The Volga, Bulgaria, Kievan Rus, the Holy Roman Empire, the Hungarian Byzantine Empire. This is where we ruled. Jake ruled. I believe Jake ruled this too. The Holy Roman Empire. Jake was all everywhere, man. Swede. All right. You got Baghdad, Persia over here. You see the map. So, again, the Khazarian Empire. All right. Khazaria. All right. Khazaria. Let's go back. It says, yeah, this is going to be a long one, probably. It says that in Israeli genetics challenges the Zionist hypothesis that all Jews belong to one race and are intimately related, thus giving them a common ancestor in a holy land and a biblical claim to Palestine. All right, so he's challenging that they're from that land because basically this guy's a molecular scientist who, with his studies, proven that these people who say they are the Jewish, their bloodline, their DNA really goes back to the Khazarian people, man. It doesn't like it with any other people around the surrounding areas. All right. Scientists usually don't call each other liars and frauds, but that's how Johns Hopkins University postdoctoral researcher Aaron Elike, he wrote this article, describes a group of widely respected genetics, including Harry Osterer, a professor of pathology and genetics at Yeshiva University, Albert Einstein College of Medicine, and author of the Next, it says, for years now, the findings of Asteria, and this is his quote, for years now, the findings of Asteria and several other scientists have stood virtually unchallenged on the genetics of Jews and the story they tell of the common Middle East origins shared by many Jewish populations worldwide. It says Jews and Ashkenazianism in particular are indeed one people, Austria's research finds. Okay, one sec. Okay, so it says it's a theory that more or less, let me read that again. For years now, the findings of Asteria and several other scientists have stood virtually unchallenged on the genetics of Jews and the story they tell of the common Middle East origins shared by many Jewish populations. Or I'll say small hats, it's too late now, but worldwide. It says small hats and Ashkenazism in particular are indeed one people, Asteria research. They're saying, yeah, it is a truth. They are we all descend from the people of the Bible, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It says it's a theory that more or less affirms the understanding that many small hats themselves hold of who they are in the world. It says a people who, though scattered, share an ethnic racial bond rooted in their common ancestral descent from the indigenous small hats of ancient Judea or Palestine, as the Romans called it after they conquered the small hats homeland. It says, but now Elhak, an Israeli molecular genetics, this is who they're talking about. It says an Israeli molecular genetics has published research that he says debunks this claim, and that has set off a predictable clash. He's just wrong, said Marcus Fieldman of Stanford University, a leading researcher in small hats genetics, referring to Ilhak, right? So somebody's arguing, no, we are those people, right? We are the original people. Someone's arguing against Ilhak. It says the sometimes strong emotions generated by this scientific dispute stem from a politically loaded question that scientists and others have pondered for decades. Where in the world did Ashkenazi small hats come from? Another bold letter says the debate touches upon such sensitive issues as whether the small hats people is a race or religion, and whether small hats or Palestinians are descended from the original inhabitants, what is now the state of Israel. Austere theory is sometimes marshaled to lend the authority of science to the Zionist narrative, which views the migration of modern-day small hats or Jews to what is now Israel and their rule over that land as a simple act of repossession by the descendants of the land original residents. Now we know, right, that again, that according to biblical prophecy, Isaiah the 6th chapter, that when we go back to our land, our Lord's going to be there. Number one, we're going to be led back by our Lord, right? And with that prophecy happening, the major prophecy to know that we're the people of the Most High are back in their land is that there will be no more war all over the earth, right? Because there's a king the King Yahushua is here, man, the Messiah, Hamashiach. But as you see, they're getting bombed every 3 seconds, man, and bombing others. There's war everywhere. Okay, look at your country. There's war. It should be worldwide peace, according to the scriptures. It says, this is Auster declined to be interviewed for this story, but in his writings, Auster points out the dangers of such reductionism. All right, meaning reductionism denying so-called facts. Right, but we all know, you know, what they put out there is not the truth. You know, I'm on YouTube, so I can't go too in. But reductionism, right? Some of the same genetic markers coming among Jews, he found, can be found in Palestinians as well, by using sophisticated molecular tools. Fieldman, Austeria, and most other scientists in the field have found that small hats are genetically homogeneous. Okay, let's look that word up again. I think that means homogeneous is similar, consisting of parts all of the same kind. Culturally speaking, the farmers consisted of extremely, yeah. So, where was I? I'm sorry. It says, some of the same genetic markers common among Jews, he finds that can be found in Palestinians, right? So it's in Palestinians as well. By using sophisticated molecular tools, Philman and Austria and most other scientists in the field have found that small hats are genetically homogeneous. Means that basically they have the same similar genes. It says no matter where they live, these scientists say small hats are genetically more similar to each other than to their non-Jewish neighbors, and they have shared Middle Eastern ancestry. The genetics research backs up what is known as the Ryland Hypothesis. So they're mostly created the small hats more than, or are genetically close more than any other nation, even the nations that are right next to them, proving that they can be the Khazars, right? According to the hypothesis, Ashkenazi Jews descended from Jews who fled Palestine after the Muslim conquest in the 7th century and settled in southern Europe. In the late Middle Ages, they moved into Eastern Europe from Germany or the Ryland. Now, the next one says, nonsense. This is Ilhak. Nonsense, says Ilhak, a 33-year-old Israeli Jew from Beersheba who earned a doctorate in molecular evolution from the University of Houston, the son of an Italian man, an Iranian woman who met in Israel. So this man might be a Jake, man. You know, he might be an Israelite foreigner. Okay, that's why he would make an article like this, because maybe he's a Jake. You know, we all know that Esau, the lying devil, the man of sin, is going to be revealed in this last days, and articles like this are doing so through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, sat down recently, Elak, dark-haired, compact man, sat down recently for an interview in his bare, narrow cubicle of an office at Hopkins, where he's worked for 4 years. This is back in like 2013, 2014 article. It says 8 years ago. In the missing link, this is his quote of a small hat European ancestry, Jewish European ancestry, contrasting the Ryland and Khazarian hypothesis. So he's going to contrast the Ryland and the Khazarian hypothesis against each other. Published in December on the online journal Genome Biology and Evolution. Now, this is somebody you should trust because he actually studies molecular genetics of people. Elak says he has proved that Ashkenazi Jews' roots lie in the Caucasus, okay, right, mountain dweller, okay, so right there, and we know that who dwelt in the Caucasus Mountains? Keglan Bunton and the Khazarian Empire in Georgia, Russia. So he's saying that Ashkenazi Jews, their line or their genetic code goes back to the same people in the Caucasus. It says a region at the border of Europe and Asia that lies between the Black and Caspian Seas, not in the Middle East. There are descendants, he argues, of the Khazars, a Turkic people, right? Turkish Edomites. That's another thing I coined from Elder Bishop Elder Tazadagba, very master historian, right? Turkish Edomites. That's what these small hats really are. They are descendants, he argues, of the Khazars, a Turkic people, because a lot of the Edomites in Turkey, their genetic makeup is similar. It is basically the same as the Khazars. A Turkic people who lived in one of the largest medieval states in Eurasia and then migrated to Eastern Europe in the 12th and 13th century. Ashkenazi genes, Elak added, are far more heterogeneous than Asteria and other proponents of the Ryland hypothesis believe. Let's look up that word heterogeneous. It says a large and heterogeneous collection. It says diversified, varied, sundry, contrasting. So he's saying the Ashkenazi genes, Eliak, added are far more heterogeneous than Oster and other proponents than the Ryland Hypothesis. Eliak did find Middle Eastern genetic marker in the DNA from Jews, but he says it could be from Iran, not ancient Judea. Eliak writes that the Khazars converted to Judaism in the 8th century, right, around the 700s, right? They converted. It says, although many historians believe, which means it wasn't them, that's not their nationality. They chose something to follow because they see it had great power, and they converted to it, right? You know, they're devils that even back then they thought about ways to control empires around them. And even like the book of Eli shows you that, you know, people who believe the Bible or a great religion, how do you rule? Whatever has, you can't rule without religion because that's the greatest influence. That's why a lot of rulers, emperors made themselves into gods for them to be worshipped, because man has to bow down to something. He has no instinct. He has no virtue yet. Instinct and virtue, which is the breath of life, was given onto the nation of Israel, man, which is that natural instinct, which we're going to get. Just like breathing air, blinking our eyes, we're going to be righteous in the kingdom of heaven with new bodies, right? So anyway, they converted, and you're not the chosen, okay? When you convert to something, you're not the chosen. It says, so converted. It says, but widespread conversion by the Khazars is the only way to explain the ballooning of the European Jewish population to 8 million at the beginning of the 20th century from its tiny base in Middle Age, Eliak says. All right? So the only way to explain that is that these Khazarians had to convert, you know, because how is it that the current people today of the small hats or Amalek, right? Why is it their bloodline is so close to the people of the Khazarian Empire when they're claiming they're not the same, right? All right, so these people are Caucasians who literally came from the Caucasus Mountains, and that's their spirit. They were Most High made them to dwell in the mountains, right? The clefts of the rocks, I'm going to get that. The Khazar says the only way to explain the ballooning of the European Jewish population to 8 million at the beginning of the 20th century from its tiny base in the Middle Age, Eliak says. It says Eliak bases its conclusion on analysis of genetic data published by a team of researchers led by Darren Bihar, a population genetics geneticist and senior physician at Israel Ramdan Medical Center in Haifa. Using the same data, Bihar's team published in 2010 a paper concluding that most contemporary Jews or small hats around the world and some non-Jewish populations from the Levant or Eastern Mediterranean are closely related. Okay, again, right? Paper concluding most contemporary small hats around the world and non-Jewish populations from the Levant, right, are closely related. It says Eliak used some of the same statistical tests as Bayer and others, but he chose different comparisons. Eliak compared genetic signatures found in Jewish populations with those of modern-day Armenians and Georgians, which he uses as a stand-in for the long-extinct Khazarians, because they live in the same area as the medieval state. It is an unrealistic premise, said University of Arizona geneticists Michael Hammer, one of the BR's co-authors of Eliak's paper. Hammer notes that Armenians have Middle Eastern roots, which he says is why they appear to be genetically related to Ashkenazi Jews in Eliak's study. Hammer, who also co-wrote the first paper that showed modern-day Koneim are descended from the single main ancestor, calls Eliak and other Khazarian hypothesis prominence. right? It says who have minority view that's not supported scientifically. It says, I think the argument they make are pretty weak in stretching that we know Feelman, director of Stanford Morris Institute of Population and Resource Studies, echoes Hammer. If you take all the careful genetic population analysis that has been done over the 15 years, there's no doubt about the common Middle Eastern origin, he said. He added that Eloch paper is sort of a one-off. Eloch's statistical analysis would not pass muster with most contemporary scholars, Feelman said. Because they all got a gag order on them. They can't really reveal that these people are derived from the Khazar Empire, right? He appears to be applying the statistics in a way that gives him the different results from what everybody else has obtained from essentially similar data. Eloch, who doesn't believe that, well, let me see. Okay, I'm almost going to finish it. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I'm almost going to finish with this article. I'm cooking my lamb. Let me be right back and checking it. One sec. Be right back. All right. And I don't know how you do it, Brother Makma. I need to learn how to quicken these stuff up. So I don't know. I wanted to read the whole thing, but I don't want to kind of drag it out. It's already 40 minutes. I got more things to show. So the point is that basically that the genetics, which I of course understand, but got a little lost in there as well. But basically that he's saying that at the end of the day, that the people of today's Smarts, their genes are closely related to the people of the Khazar Empire, all right, which was in Georgia, Russia, which proves that where was the Khazarian Empire? In the Caucasus in Georgia, Russia. Let's see if I could get like something else to get out of here, but I think we're pretty much done. Okay, here's another big quote here. It says, let's see. I'll read this real quick. It says, Eloch writes more provocatively than may be needed, but it's his style. What, I need to read that. I said, in the news article that accompanied Eloch's journal paper, Shlomo Sand, history professor at Tel Aviv University and author of the controversial 2000 book, The Invention of the Small Hat People, said the study vindicated his long-held ideas. It's obvious for me, a quote, Sand told the journal some people, historians, and even scientists turn a blind eye to the truth. Once to say Jews were a race was anti-Semitic, now to say they're not a race is anti-Semitic. It's crazy how history plays with us. The paper has received little coverage in mainstream American media, but it has attracted the attention of anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic white supremacists. Interestingly, while anti-Zionist bloggers have applauded Eloch's work, saying it proves that contemporary Jews have no legitimate claim to Israel, some white supremacists have attacked it. I want to get one more because they mentioned Arthur Kessler in here, and he's the one who wrote the 13th tribe. Okay, to say, proving that there's 12 tribes in the nation of Israel. You know, so if you're saying that what that book's saying rather is if you're saying that you're Jewish or you part of those people, then you would have to be the 13th, and there's no 13th tribe. Okay, so trying to find that part. Okay, here we go. Okay, one last paragraph. It says, Enoch says he first read about the Khazarian Hypothesis is a decade ago in a 1976 book by the late Hungarian British author Kessler. We always talk about that. We always bring that up. And they killed him, by the way. It said the 13th tribe, written before scientists had the tools to compare genomes. It says Kessler, who was Jewish by birth, said his aim in writing the book was to eliminate the racist underpinnings of anti-Semitism in Europe. Should this theory be confirmed, the term anti-Semitism would become void of meaning. And really, they didn't even use that right, because again, we know that this Semitism or Semite comes from the word Shem. We know that after the flood of Noah, right? Noah had 3 sons: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. We come under the line of Shem. You know, we do, the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Native Americans, our wicked, evil brother Esau, Edom. Obviously, right, because he's our wicked brother. He comes out of a lot of Shem. You also got the Hebrew, and they're all Hebrews. We are the Hebrew Israelites. They're the Hebrew Edomites. Then you got the Hebrew Ishmaelites, right? Because Abraham had a son by what? Hagal, I forget the name. Hagal. Correct me if I'm wrong, Salak. Ishmael, the wild man, right? So he's a Hebrew Ishmaelite. And you got, Lot, after Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, Lot and his 2 daughters thought they were the last people on earth. And so they, the story as goes, that they got their father drunk and had intercourse with him, man, and made themselves get pregnant by their own father, which hence today, that's where you got a bunch of Mongoloids today that call themselves, which is incest or inbreeds, today's so-called Chinese and so-called Japanese people, which really in the Bible they're called Ammon, the Hebrew Ammonites, right, which is the Japanese, and the Hebrew Moabites. Okay, all right, that's a little brief history. Now Ammon, that's not his original name after Lot had him, but that's who they are. Anyway, so it says the book jacket reads, although Kessler's book was generally well reviewed, some skeptics question the author's grasp of the history of Khazaria. Grauer is not surprised that Enoch has stood up against the clique of scientists who believe that Jews are genetically homogeneous. He enjoys being combative, Grauer said. That's what science is. So I think I read a little bit too much. Well, that was the last paragraph. I'll leave it at that. I'll put it in the description box. Now let's go to the, the other part of the show. So we just proved there, again, read the article, and that proves that the today's small hats derive from the Khazarian Empire, all right, and their bloodline or the genetic code are similar to those people more than any other people on the earth, right? But you have people, who forward the narrative that they are the original people, saying that, oh no, their bloodline is like the people around them, but it's not so. All right, these are the Khazarians, man. All right, who dwelt. Now let's get a scripture. Okay, let's get a scripture. Let's get a scripture. Who dwelt on the clefts of the rocks, right? Because that's what the let's put in cleft. That's what the Caucasus are. All right. Okay, this is Obadiah chapter 1 verse 3. Obadiah 1 verse 3. It reads, "The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power, concerning Edom," right, which means red man. "We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle." And who's that ambassador? All right, according to biblical prophecy, that's Gamal Abdel Nasser. Gamal Abdel Nasser was a prime minister. I forget what around time, I think 30s or 40s or 50s, either around time, I'm not going to look it up. He said that what? That how can they, a famous quote, how can they leave black but come back white? Okay, meaning they're not the people, man, and it's all exposed. That's where they got an Orwellian law, a law in certain parts, like in 14 or 18 countries, that if you look up or do any research on the show of business, I'll say it like that, you can get locked up, man, or even stuff like this. Okay, so it says, "We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle." So with that statement, that was rising up against her. Articles like this by what's his name, Elkel. Articles like this, he's doing the same thing. You got people within their own. He's an Israeli, probably Israelite, and trying to disprove this. So that's writing articles like those. Kessler, right? What's his name again? Arthur Kessler, same thing. These are all ambassadors going against the narrative that these are the people. And the famous one was Gamal Abdel Nasser, because I was on live TV. It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised." And remember Apostle Ramlab said years ago that approximately Esau small among the heathen. There's only literally 15% of Edomites in the whole world, right? So they're the real minority, man. Okay, they're the real minority. They're small amongst the heathen, man. And also in of course, they're the basis of men. Their spirit. It says they're nothing. Right? It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, and thou art greatly despised." Let's look up that word despised. Now, who was more despised than everybody hates the small hats, man? Okay. Despised. I want to look that up real quick. That's verse 2. And, sorry for a long show. I don't really like making long shows, but, just trying to do my best I can with this. But, I don't think I'm doing that good reading all that, but, it's all the spirit. Keep going, Lord willing. So, hopefully, your attention, keep your, attention. So let's look up despised. It means baza, right? It means despised, contemptible, condemned, disdained by the person. So people have disdain for the small hats, man. Okay? There's 11 hate was the nation of the Jacob, Israelites. But the small hats, everybody hates the small hats, man. All over the world, you got people who are on higher ups, or people who are so-called maidens in society. They have a gag on it. They can't really say too much because they got to keep their position. They got to, keep that bribe or keep the benefits from their sellout. But nobody likes them. Remember what Mel Gibson said. You have celebrities say anything out openly. They speak out. They either get fired, but they have a disdain for them. It's out there. It said to despise, to condemn, or contempt. So we know what despise means, right? Like ultimate hatred, man. Okay, people hate the small hats in the world, man. All right. Oh, another thing today, another, pasty gremlin from Lord of the Rings died today. I forgot to say that. Everybody knows by now. The whole world knows. Queen, whatever that thing is, Elizabeth, that pasty little being over there is dead. So the water shy for that. She claims that she claims she's a bloodline of that. Well, Pastor said today, right? They're claiming that they're they descend from Judah. They think they're Alma. They think they're the original people, man. You see this? That's where they have a throne up there. But I think that's all fake anyway. Some saying that she died years ago. Some saying that she fell into the ground, or who knows what the hell's going on. But you never could really believe in the news. And really we know that something's big gonna happen with news like this. Okay, now it says, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, right? Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right? When you look at it, let's look at the word cleft. That's verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, right? Pride, who has pride? The devil, Esau, Satan, Cain. Okay? And we're going to bring up Cain too. This all ties back into Cain, man, the same spirit. Cain, Esau, and today the small hats. They're the same people. Or you so-called white people. Edom. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. That word cleft there is what? Clefts, places of concealment, retreats. All right? So what? Caveman. It says from an unused root meaning to take refuge. A rift in rocks. A rift in rocks. Right? Places of refuge in the rocks. Dwellings carved in the rocks. All right? So who's that talking about? A dwelling carved in the rocks. A dwelling carved in the mountains is nothing but, if you're living there, you're nothing but a caveman. All right? That's what they are, man. Look at that picture again, man. Where's that picture? There we go. Let me show you. Yeah. He that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, man. All right. Going back to the curses of Genesis, the 3rd chapter, which I'm not going to get today. This is already a long show. But that was his curse, to be driven among men and to be eating bushes and eating brains of the skull of his parents and things of that nature. And these people are just as vile today. Okay? Matter of fact, I'm going to have to get another script after that. Yeah, let me get that real quick. This is Jeremiah. This is Job 30, right? Look how vile they are. And they do that today to small hats. When they have a newborn that's born, what do? It's documented out there. And they put it, it's out loud, right? They put it out on Front Street that they literally bite off the baby boys, or how do they, how should I say, circumcise a baby, is to bite the foreskin off their penis, man, and after suck the blood. They're so dirty. It's been noted that most of the times they give babies herpes, man. See, this is the animal that we're dealing with here, all right? So this proves that it would have to be these people here when you read Job 30. Biting the foreskin of the babies, as they follow the Talmud, whatever it tells them to do that, right? Job 30 says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision. Who's younger than I? Well, Esau. They have it's confusion because they're younger than us because they derive from us. Esau is Jacob's brother, and who's Esau's father was Isaac, all right? Isaac and Rebecca. And Isaac and Rebecca were what? So-called black people, right? Isaac is the spirit of the Lord, really too, that's another topic. We know that because Abraham, the Most High asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, which to test his faith, which he did, but that was a future prophecy, right, to show you that this man is the Lord, man. Why? Because he ultimately did get sacrificed when he came back as Yahushua 2,000 years ago. So it says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have them disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Now, when you see shit like this, and we're reading, all right, especially what they do today, biting the foreskin of their babies and giving them herpes, right? You can see why. They're nothing but animals, man. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time desolate and waste, right? They fled into the Caucasus Mountains, which is curses, who cut up the mallows by the bushes and juniper roots by their meat. So they were bush eaters, man. They were cavemen, okay? They were driven forth among men. They cried after them as after a thief, which goes back to what? I'm not going to go into Genesis, where it describes Cain is going to be. That proves he's Cain. He's going to be a nomad. He's going to be a wanderer, right? And he was driven forth among men because he's a wild beast. Tells you that he was going to get chased because he's a goddamn awkward devil. He was not a real human. So you got this guy Yuval Noah Harari, supposed to be an expert in sapienism, whatever, but you're not even a real human, man, because you were chased just because of your skin color, all right? Because you got no color, all right? You got no hue, okay? They were driven forth among men. They were cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys. What's the cliffs of the valleys? The Caucasus Mountains, man. Just like they did in Mount Seir. And we still got that video to watch, right? So we get the point. To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks, right? Come on, man. Let me put this picture on this caveman right here. All right. To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. Like what, Daniel's 4:17? The Most High set up the basest man in existence to rule, man, in the latter days. Esau, the devil. They were, it says, and now, all right, so that was it. Well, we're already at an hour. Slack Yakim. All right. Well, I hope you enjoying it, Lord willing. Well, all right. So we proved that. Now, we proved that already, right? Okay. So where was I? So we already proved that they come from the Caucasus Mountains, and we proved that they come from the clefts of the rocks. So now I think I'm done going into that. Yuval Noah Harari, his name is an Oman, and it goes into him being a mountain dweller, and his whole kind. All right, they're his whole kind. They're nothing but mountain dwellers. We just proved that. All right. So now let's go to the next subject, which I'm going to show a video first, and I'm going to finish off. We're almost done with some stuff here. So let's put up this video. And we're going to go to a video here. And this video was posted by Page Master, a beloved brother of ours. Karatazak, I believe. Slack if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Akia. But you know, much love to you, brother. Lo, I can't wait to meet you too, man. Okay, so it says must watch video. This completely debunks vocab Malone. So this is again from beloved brother of ours, Karatazak or Karatazakba Sulak Akia. If you could put your name, I forget how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. So let's play this video, which is an excellent video that brother posted, going into Edom. So we're going to watch it together. Let's play. I'll put in description as well.
out, Edomites, the descendants of Esau, actually made up the Roman Empire. As a matter of fact, the Jewish Encyclopedia also states, but as many are finding out, Edomites, the descendants of Esau, actually made up the Roman Empire. As a matter of fact, the Jewish Encyclopedia also states that the name Edom is used by the Talmudists for the Roman Empire, and they applied to Rome every passage of the Bible referring to Edom or to Esau.
Yeah, so vocab, where you at, man? You don't know about that encyclopedia? Because why? You're a fake scholar, man. You're a phony. You're nothing but a goddamn hireling, man. You wouldn't know anything about that. Or you do, you're just ignoring the facts. Anyway, but it says it right there. The Talmud refers to Romans as Edom.
Where is Edom today? Esau's land was called Edom. Edom is the country of Jordan and the place of Petra, the city
which Edom means red, and Petra means a rock.
In the mountain. Look at the architecture of the photo at Petra, which is Edom. Notice how it resembles Rome along with many of the structures all.
And you see that, like Apostle Gabar and all the apostles, they always go into, the Oman, well, Apostle Gabar really, the Oman Noman, name prediction. So all these describe is a vibration of the so-called white man. Edom means red, Petra means rock, right? We just went into, they dwell in the clefts of the rocks. We see that they migrated years later into the Caucasus Mountains, which is part of the curses, right? So names have meaning, man. That's why, again, when I looked up Yuval Noah Harari, it was deep, man. He's a flowing, comfortable mountain dweller. A Mo or a Gappy, mountain dweller.
All over the world. Our sports stadiums resemble the Colosseum. Even modern-day sports are in fact derived from Rome. European systems of government are set up like the early Roman Empire, having both Senate and the Republic, local government, and other things as well. Esau's descendants are called Edomites. Later, they're called Idumeans. Idumea, or Edom in Hebrew, was the region south of Judea, originally inhabited by the reputed descendants of Jacob's brother Esau.
Yeah, see, we'll go through the maps as well.
Edom was periodically subjected to Judea under David and Solomon the Maccabees,
That's
homeland
right.
of the house of Herod. There were no natural boundaries between Edom.
You heard that, Herod, homeland of the house of Herod. So Herod, who was later on, years later, what's the prophecy on that? He tried to kill newborn babies, under 2 years old, because he heard about the Messiah was coming when the Lord was born. So Herod came from the Herodian dynasty, right? Which are Edomites. So he was an Edomite, man. He was like basically a tear.
Idumea and Judea, so the borders were always in flux. According to the Jewish Encyclopedia, 1925 edition, in 163 BC, Judas Maccabeus conquered the Edomite territory for a time. They, the Edomites, were again subdued by John Hyrcanus about 125 BC, by whom they were forced to observe Israelite rites and laws of the Torah.
Yeah, it had to be John Hyrcanus, right? They were forced to follow Israelite rites. I heard blood brother of ours, Elder Malcolm, go into that, mention that. He always mentions that. He has one of the best series on Edom Esau, the famous show he did.
They were then incorporated with the tribe of Judah, and their country was called by the Greeks and Romans Idumea. With Antipater the Idumean began the Idumean dynasty that ruled over Judea till its conquest by the Romans. From this time, the Idumeans ceased to be a separate people. Therefore, Edom later became known as the Roman Empire. With the sacking of Rome by the barbarians came the mingling or spoiling of Esau's seed, thus fulfilling the prophecy of Jeremiah 49:10.
But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
The Goths were Ukraine, Romania, Moldova, Belarus, Poland, and Scandinavia. The Saxons were Germany, the Dutch, the English, Northern Albania.
And that's all Jake, man. Really real Saxons, right? Redwelt in Germany, the Dutch, England, all this. Jay conquered Scotland, which means Black Land, Ireland, Wales, Great Britain. Right, Britain goes back to word what? Bayath. Well, I forget how it goes, but man of the covenant. English, but angels goes back to angels. Okay. Who are the angels? The saints. The chosen people.
Great Britain, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. The Franks were France. The Lombards were Italy. The Vandals were East Germany, which were known for their senseless destruction, which is where we get the term vandalism.
That had to be Esau. He's a damn he's a thief, man. That had to be Esau.
Vandalism is the behavior attributed originally to the Vandals by the Romans in respect of culture, ruthless destruction or spoiling of anything beautiful or venerable. These kingdoms all branched off into other kingdoms such as Canada, America, Caucasus, Siberia, Central Asia, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Ireland, and maybe others. No, together these kingdoms all make up the rule of the entire world. Esau and his kingdoms, Edom, will be ruling at the end of the world, and Jacob will rule afterward in the millennium under the Messiah, Yeshua.
Heard that vocab? It's really Yahweh Shai from the power of Abba Yahweh. But you heard that vocab?
Many Bible scholars teach that the Edomites no longer exist, but scripture clearly shows them in the last days.
All right, so I think that's majority of it. He's going to go into scriptures, which you leave that to us. All right, Lord willing. All right, now we showed that video. Let me read some stuff. Let's look at some maps real quick. Let's look at some maps. Edomite territory, 2004, 1400 BC. Got to see the Amorites, Moabites, Amorites, right? Edomites. Let's keep going. Edomites, 1926 to 550 BC. You have the Dead Sea here. You got Edomite territory, 1446, 600 BC. Right? Because we know that Esau, when he went from his brother Jacob, because they couldn't occupy the same land, he founded the land of Edom. Right? Esau is the father of the Edomites, like it says in Genesis 36 chapter. 1446 BC, Exodus, the Edomites were Transjordan, Mount Seir here. Only after the Babylonian captivities of the 605-587 BC did Edom move into Judah's territory. Kadesh impossible at Quartet must be at Petra. Let's keep going. Can we get that, make that bigger? Let's see. We already saw that one. Let's get a few more maps in here. Map of Eris, when Kadesh. Let's get another one. That's not a good one. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, you got the Kingdom of Israel, Kingdom of Ammon. You got Kingdom of Moab, Kingdom of Judah. Right? Judah was a southern kingdom. Israel was a northern. Kingdom of Edom, Petra, the capital, which means rock. You can't get around these names, man. You give names to something because they describe, that's what a name is, to describe what it is. Oman, Noman, just like Yuvel or the flowy Marakab mountain dweller. Let's get some more pictures. This is Mount Seir, okay? This is Esau's nature, man, and you see that today with the, with the Roman, similar Roman building architecture, and also in today's major cities, starting with the Empire State America, New York, right? right? They build tall skyscrapers, tall buildings, right? What Alicia Keys coined the phrase with the concrete jungle, New York. New York is, let's look at some of these. Oh, let me go back. It's known as the concrete jungle, right? So you see here, right? Look at that. Look at that. Mount Seir. Look at that. Clefts in the rocks, holes in the rocks. These are mountains, man. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that, man. Mountain dwellers. We all know this, you know. Just, you know, proving a point here. So look at that. Look at that. Look at that mountain right there. Look at that. See? Mountain dwellers, man. Mountain dwellers. Look at that. In the clefts of the rocks. Just like in the Caucasus Mountains. You Caucasians come from this, man. All right. All right, so let's read a little bit from the dictionary here. Almost done. Let me see if I had anything else. Real quick before I read this. Almost done out there, if you're still there. Okay, so let's read a little bit of this. Okay, so I'll go to Mount Seir first. And see, I'm missing. See, there's one thing I'm missing though. There was something I want to show. Let me read this and I'll see if I can find it. Hold on. Okay, this is what I want to show right here. You see? Where's that real quick? Get this. This right here. We're about to read. It says Mount Seir, Edom and Esau. Right? We just saw the pictures of that. Right, like right here. Or right there. Right? It says Mount Seir, Edom and Esau. Mount Seir is located in Edom, region southwest of the Salt Sea, now part of Saudi Arabia. Edom was settled by Esau, the twin brother of Jacob. This land was promised to them by the Most High, right? I want to show you this one too. It says Basra. It says Basra of Edom is just south of Selah. Selah was the second capital of Edom. Selah is Hebrew, Edomite word for the rock. It is probably built upon Mount Seir. You see, you can't. Here it is. You got the capital called Petra. You got another one, another capital, or another secondary capital called Selah, which means rock. Okay, you people derive today. They say you're Caucasian. You derive from mountains that are on the rocks. You dwell in the clefts of the rocks, like the scriptures say. You can't get around all this evidence, man. Okay. Just wanted to show that real quick. All right, now it says, let's go to Mount Seir. This is it's like one of my longest shows, man. Let's go to Mount Seir, Salak. Almost there. Okay, Mount Seir. It says a place name meaning hairy. Okay, it means hairy. All right, we already know. And thus thicket, a thicket or a small forest region. Didn't we just read in Job the 30th chapter, they that are younger than I had to put away from the flock of the dog. I'm not saying a verbatim. He wouldn't disdain from the flock of his dogs, put him away from that. You know, it said that they dwelt in bushes, man. Let me read it again because I'm bad at verbatim. Job 30. Right, let's just get I'm just kind of butchering it. It says, but now, Job 31, but they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained. Right, we read about him. He has much disdain in Obadiah, didn't we? To have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me. Let me skip down. Who cut up mallows for bushes and juniper roots for meat. All right, mallows for bushes, man. Again, seer was place meaning hairy. Isn't it not true that Esau, like our wicked brother, was hairy like a hairy garment, man, and red and hairy like a hairy garment, like a caveman. And thus, thicket or small forest region, a mountain range which runs the length of biblical Edom. All right, we just showed the mountain range, just like the Caucasus Mountains, leading at times to the equation of Edom, leading at times to the equation of Edom and Seir. Parts of the range are most impassable. The highest peak is about 5,600 feet above sea level. The region was home to Esau and his descendants. All right. Some documents found in Egypt seem to make Seir and Edom. All right, so that was it. All right, so again, the main thing to get out of that is Seir means literally hairy. Okay, going back to Jacob and Esau, man. He was all red and hairy all over like a hairy garment, right? And also, when you look at Seir, I was looking at something here. It also means, where is it at? It's funny, when you look at the rocks in Mount Seir, they have a reddish tint to it, which also represent the ruddiness of, or the redness of that region. Oh, right here. Okay, Edom. It says 3 possible origins of the name. I'll just show you. We already know what it means, red, but look at all the red that's around this man. Right? 3 possible, right, origins of the name red. Red cliffs of Esau's sandstone area, right? This Mount Seir. Right? The red sandstone. Right? Let's see. Is this not red over here? This not red? Edomites, is this not red? Red hair of Esau at birth. Red pottage which Esau took in exchange for his inheritance, which we're about to get those precepts showing that just like Yuval Noah Harari out of his own mouth, we can get God as angry as we like. We don't care. Well, Esau didn't care about his birthright, just like Yuval, just they don't care. They don't care about the Most High, man. Edom refers to the land of occupied land. Okay, we got that. And also, he's a damn crime. He's a devil. He's a thief. The word crime goes back to crimson, which means red. When you, like, Pascal always goes into the phrase, when you're caught red-handed, that means you're caught in a crime. That's what he is. He's a man of sin. Now, I don't think I need to go to Edom. We already went much. We already know that. Edom is we don't need to go into that. Okay, because we already showed all that of Edom now. So pretty much almost done. Let me get these last 2 scriptures on his quote. Let's look up that quote from Yuval, where his name is. Okay, let's look up quotes. These are his quotes. Fucking, you calm down. What a F, man. What a frigate. That's an inside joke. What a mo or a gappy, man. The quotes he's saying. Well, I don't need to. There's plenty of quotes here, but I'm trying to find that one. But there's some quotes he's saying. It says, "Is there anything more dangerous than the dissatisfied and irresponsible gods who don't know what they want. So that's what he's talking against. But if you don't believe, why even talk in that kind of manner? Right? So we don't need to go there. It's been a long show anyway, but this guy constantly makes quotes against a creator. See, they don't want God to be real, because that means they got to be judged for being the devil that they are. So let me get these last two scriptures and I'll finish on that. This is Hebrews 12:16. Hebrews 12:16. Right, Hebrews 12:16, it reads, it says, lest there be any fornicator, which fornicator means basically, an adulterer, right? Which the only ones who can technically commit adultery is the ones that the Most High is married to, which is his people, right? But if you claim that you are those people, or you have that same mindset, you're still a fornicator. Lest there be any fornicator or profane persons. Profane means outside the temple. All you other nations, non-Israelites, Gentiles, natural Gentiles, you're all profane. You're outside of the temple of this truth of Yahweh Shema Shai. Lest there be any fornicator or profane persons as Esau, right, just told you, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Why did he do that? Because he didn't care. It says, for ye know how that afterward, when we would have inherited, let me see. Yeah. I don't need to read that. That was the main point I wanted to get that. Lest there be any fornicator or profane persons as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Why? Because he didn't care. Just like the Marakab or Gapi comfortable mountain dweller, Yuval Noah Harari. Right? What did he say? Well, let me get the next precept. Genesis 4 and 5. Genesis 4 and 5, right? Proving that this man, now that was Esau, and who else didn't care? Who else didn't care or have any respect for the Most High in the scriptures? Well, the spirit of Satan, Cain. All right, who is Satan? Genesis 4 and 5, it reads, I'll start from 2. Well, 3. And it says, in the process of time, 2, I'm sorry. And she began to bear brother Abel, and Abel was the keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. All right, we all know again, Noman, Cain means what? Weapon, Kwayan, which is weapon. That's the spirit of the so-called weapon today. He's a damn weapon. He's a killing instrument of the Most High. Right, but anyway, Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. Right? So, and then it says, and in process of time, and Abel, he also brought, which means transitory, which means for a short amount of time, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto him, Cain, why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And because and you doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto you shall be this desire, and shalt rule over him. All right, so basically the Most High told him, look, you're a man of sin. Okay, sin lieth at your door. That's what you are. Okay, you're a sinner. They knew about the laws, even though it wasn't written down, but they knew about the laws. That's how the Most High respect unto Abel, our forefather, offering unto the Most High by the sheep and the lamb, because that was part of the law. That's how you sacrifice to the Most High. But Cain knew not to give fruit, but he gave it anyway. Why? Because he didn't care. So let's look up, I'm done, but let's look up that word well. Let's go to Genesis. Let's look up well. Let me see. Let's look up Genesis. Because I want to show a word. It proves that when you look up well, he didn't care. Genesis, or he didn't have any respect for the Most High. And when you don't have any respect, you don't care. All right, when we go to the word Genesis 4 and 5, Genesis 4 and 7. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? Right, just like Abel's sacrifice was accepted because he cared, he listened. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So he's a man of sin, who's been revealed in these times. So if you look up the word well, in the Hebrew it's yatab. Yatab kind of sounds like tawab. Tawab is good, and well means yatab. So it's kind of the same word, but a little mixed up, twisted there. So well means yatab, which is well, accepted, better, amend, marry, please, diligently. So he didn't do well. So he didn't do good, which is godly, off the last show. He didn't please the Lord. Why? Because when you don't do well, you don't do good things, godly things. You're ungodly if you don't do good things. You didn't please, that means you're trying to unplease. Amend means to correct. If you're not trying to correct, doing the correct thing, you don't care. So we get the point. To make glad, to not make glad. If you don't do something thoroughly, you don't care, right? To do well, to do something thoroughly. That's how you do something well. So he offered up fruits, and that wasn't well, because he didn't care. All right, rightly, respect. So that was pretty much it. I hit the point, hour and a half show, long enough. Went way over, but anyway, like I said, it took me a few days to kind of gather stuff and trying to put it together. Lord willing to hold your attention span. We all know this stuff, but like I said, I was inspired by Yahweh Shemashai, Lord willing, and I looked at that word based off that bold statement off of Yuval Noah Harari, which again means flow. We already know what that means. A gappy mountain dweller, comfortable mountain dweller, which proves that you are Caucasians. You derive from the Khazarian people, and which today the small hats, 99 or 90% of their molecular genetics are similar to the Khazarian people, because they are them, right? And they're the ones that those are those people that converted to being who they think who we are. All right, and those are the same people, the same spirit or same people that was in the land of Seir, just by the surroundings and then dealing in the clefts of the rocks. Okay. Let me see, finish with one last scripture. This is Malachi. Finish on the last scripture, Malachi 1:1. It says, "The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau." Right, so the Most High hates, and he hates you, damn Edomites, man. "And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness." And we're about to come into the time, because America's going to be destroyed. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Right? They were destroyed. They were driven among men, and then they came back to the Renaissance. Only by the black plague killing off our people. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. They build back up. We're in today's current state of Esau's build-up scenario here, this current world. But the Most High is about to throw it down. It said, then they should call them the border of wickedness, right? Because we just read, sin lieth at the door with with Cain, okay? And the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever, right? All right, so, and again, with that quote, it proves that this guy's the devil, man, to say something stupid like that. And, you know, your name in the kingdom should be, do you care now? That'd be nice. Do you care now? Anyway, with that, sorry for a really long show, but I hope it was edifying and that it was, you know, it was edifying. So, Lord willing, Kal Halal, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Caucus, double honor to the apostles of Obadiah, forgiveness to Yahushai, double honor to the apostles of GMS, the CT bishops and elders, and shalom to you brothers in this country and all over the world, prophesying the true name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Shalom.